66 million years ago, in what is now Montana, a female Tyrannosaurus rex raises her head, nostrils flaring. Something has changed in the air, something imperceptible to us, but not to her. She is the apex predator in a dynasty that has ruled Earth for 186 million years, a reign 900 times longer than humans have existed. In the coming hours, her world will end in fire and darkness. But this isn't just the story of how dinosaurs died. This is the story of how they lived, how they evolved from small, agile runners into the most spectacular array of creatures our planet has ever known, how they breathed, hunted, socialized, and ultimately, how their legacy continues today in unexpected forms. The truth about dinosaurs is far more extraordinary than fiction. They weren't failures of evolution, but one of its greatest success stories. And remarkably, you're looking at their descendants every day without realizing it. To understand this life, the lives of dinosaurs, we must journey deep into Earth's past, when continents collided, oceans disappeared, and the world was almost unrecognizable. When a small group of reptiles developed the adaptations that would let them inherit the planet. If you time traveled to the dinosaur age, here's what would happen. A journey through 186 million years of triumph, catastrophe, and evolution that continues to shape our world today. This isn't just ancient history, this is your history. 252 million years ago, our planet was recovering from the most devastating mass extinction in its history. The Permian-Triassic extinction event had wiped out approximately 96% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial vertebrates. Our world looked nothing like it does today. All land masses were fused into one supercontinent called Pangaea. Vast deserts dominated the interior, while conifer forests and fern-filled wetlands thrived along coastal regions. The climate was generally hot and dry, punctuated by seasonal monsoons. Among the survivors and new forms of life that evolved in this harsh environment were the very first dinosaurs. Small, agile, and initially rare, they were far from the dominant animals of their time. Early dinosaurs like Eoraptor were modest in size, about as long as a 6-year-old child is tall. These animals were quick, bipedal omnivores, using their speed and adaptability to survive in a world dominated by larger reptilian cousins called pseudosuchians, the ancestors of modern crocodilians. The apex predators of this time weren't dinosaurs at all, but animals like Postosuchus, a 4-meter-long archosaur more closely related to crocodiles than to dinosaurs. These powerful hunters kept early dinosaurs in check, often relegating them to the ecological sidelines. But what exactly defines a dinosaur? The word dinosaur means terrible lizard, yet dinosaurs are not lizards at all. They belong to a group called archosaurs, which also includes crocodilians and birds. One key feature distinguishing dinosaurs is their hip structure. Unlike other reptiles, whose legs sprawl outward from their bodies, dinosaurs had an upright stance, with legs positioned directly beneath their bodies, an energy-efficient posture that allowed for greater stamina and mobility. This anatomical innovation left distinctive footprints that paleontologists can identify. In fact, tracks and traces are often more common fossils than bones, providing crucial information about dinosaur movement, behavior, and distribution. Scientists recognize dinosaurs by a suite of skeletal characteristics, including a hole in the hip socket, 2 openings in the skull behind the eye, and specialized ankle bones. These features emerged gradually during the Triassic period, a perfect example of evolutionary change, occurring not in dramatic leaps, but through incremental adaptations over millions of years. By the Middle Triassic, about 230 million years ago, early dinosaurs were diversifying. Plateosaurus, one of the first large plant-eating dinosaurs, reached lengths of up to 10 meters. These early sauropodomorphs, relatives of the later giant long-necked dinosaurs, had already developed the long neck adaptation for reaching high vegetation. Meanwhile, predatory dinosaurs like Herrerasaurus had evolved into efficient hunters with serrated teeth and grasping hands. At 3 to 4 meters long, these were formidable predators that signaled dinosaurs' growing ecological importance. Throughout the Triassic, atmospheric oxygen levels were lower than today, around 16% compared to our current 21%, while carbon dioxide levels were significantly higher. This greenhouse environment supported different plant communities than what we see in modern times, dominated by conifers, ferns, cycads, and ginkgos rather than flowering plants, which had not yet evolved. As the Triassic drew to a close, around 201 million years ago, massive volcanic eruptions associated with the breakup of Pangaea triggered another mass extinction. While devastating for many species, this extinction event eliminated many of the dinosaurs' competitors, setting the stage for their dominance in the next period. The supercontinent was beginning to fracture, with shallow seas forming between what would eventually become separate landmasses. This geological shift would reshape life on Earth in the coming millions of years, creating new habitats and evolutionary pressures. As the world entered the Jurassic period 201 million years ago, dinosaurs found themselves in an ecological landscape with reduced competition. They responded with an explosion of diversity and size. This is the period that most people envision when they think of dinosaurs, a time of true giants. Geologically, Pangaea continued to break apart. The separating landmasses created new coastlines and inland seas. Climate zones became more distinct, and the world grew wetter and more hospitable in many regions. These changes created diverse habitats that dinosaurs rapidly adapted to fill. Among the most iconic dinosaurs of this time were the sauropods, massive, long-necked herbivores like Diplodocus and Brachiosaurus. Growing to lengths of over 30 meters and weights exceeding 50 tons, these were the largest land animals to ever walk the earth. Imagine a creature so tall it could peek into a third-story window of a modern building. These gentle giants evolved their immense size as a defense against predation. Few predators could tackle a healthy adult sauropod. Their long necks allowed them to reach high vegetation that other herbivores couldn't access, effectively creating their own feeding niche. Despite their massive bodies, sauropod heads were relatively small, with simple, peg-like teeth suitable for stripping vegetation rather than chewing. They likely swallowed stones called gastroliths to help grind food in their enormous digestive tracts, where plant material would ferment for weeks. How did sauropods support such massive bodies? The answers lie in evolutionary engineering. Their limb bones were columnar like elephant legs, but proportionally thicker and reinforced with internal structures perfectly aligned to bear weight. Perhaps their most remarkable adaptation was their vertebrae, which contained complex air sacs similar to those seen in birds today. These air sacs reduced the weight of their enormous necks and tails while maintaining structural strength, a perfect example of evolutionary problem solving. These air sacs weren't just for weight reduction. They were part of an efficient respiratory system that processed air in a one-way flow, unlike our in and out breathing. This bird-like respiratory system extracted more oxygen per breath, helping to power their massive metabolism. Large bodies also created challenges for temperature regulation. Modern research suggests that sauropods likely had elevated metabolic rates, not fully cold-blooded like modern reptiles, but perhaps not fully warm-blooded like mammals either. Their massive size created thermal inertia, maintaining stable body temperatures despite external temperature fluctuations, a concept scientists call gigantothermy. Where giants roamed, powerful predators evolved to hunt them. Allosaurus was the apex predator of the late Jurassic, reaching lengths of 9 to 12 meters. These sophisticated hunters had stereo vision, serrated teeth, and powerful forelimbs with 3 clawed fingers, perfect for gripping struggling prey. Evidence suggests these predators may have hunted in loose groups, allowing them to tackle prey much larger than themselves. The Jurassic also saw one of the most significant evolutionary developments in vertebrate history, the origin of flight. Archaeopteryx, discovered in German limestone quarries, represents a transitional form between dinosaurs and birds, with both reptilian features like teeth and a bony tail, and avian features like wings and feathers. We now know that feathers weren't exclusive to flying species. Many theropod dinosaurs, the group that includes Velociraptor and T-Rex, possessed feathers for insulation, display, or other functions long before flight evolved. This discovery has revolutionized our image of what many dinosaurs actually looked like. While dinosaurs dominated the land, the Jurassic seas teemed with marine reptiles like ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs, and marine crocodilians. These were not dinosaurs. True dinosaurs were exclusively terrestrial, but they were equally remarkable reptiles that had returned to aquatic life, just as whales would do much later in Earth's history. The Jurassic landscape was dominated by gymnosperms, cone-bearing plants like conifers, along with cycads, ginkgos, and various ferns. Flowering plants had not yet evolved, meaning the Jurassic world lacked the colorful blooms, fruits, and grasses that characterize many modern ecosystems. As the Jurassic period drew to a close, around 145 million years ago, the world continued to change. Land masses drifted further apart, sea levels fluctuated, and dinosaurs continued to evolve and diversify, setting the stage for the final and longest chapter of their reign, the Cretaceous period. The Cretaceous period, spanning from 145 to 66 million years ago, represents the peak of dinosaur diversity. During these 79 million years, nearly twice as long as the time since the last dinosaurs disappeared, virtually every ecosystem on Earth was dominated by dinosaurs of astonishing variety. The breakup of Pangaea accelerated, with continents migrating toward their present-day positions. This continental fragmentation created isolated populations that evolved independently, leading to distinct dinosaur faunas on different landmasses, a prehistoric version of the regional animal diversity we see today. Perhaps the most significant biological development of the Cretaceous was the radiation of angiosperms. This revolutionary new plant group diversified rapidly, forming co-evolutionary relationships with pollinating insects and eventually becoming the dominant plant type in many ecosystems, as they remain today. The early Cretaceous saw the emergence of tyrannosaurs, initially as mid-sized predators. By the late Cretaceous, this family had evolved into Tyrannosaurus rex, the ultimate land predator of the Mesozoic. Standing 4 meters tall at the hip and measuring up to 13 meters long, T-Rex combined massive size with remarkable sensory capabilities. CT scans of T-Rex skulls reveal large olfactory bulbs, suggesting an exceptional sense of smell, possibly for detecting prey at great distances or even for locating carrion. Their forward-facing eyes provided stereoscopic vision with visual acuity similar to modern hawks, allowing precise depth perception when hunting. Their bite force has been estimated at more than 35,000 newtons, powerful enough to crush bones and extract nutritious marrow. Fossil evidence shows that T-Rex could digest bone, extracting every possible calorie from its kills or scavenged carcasses. The late Cretaceous was also the age of horned dinosaurs like Triceratops, with its 3 facial horns and massive bone frill. These weren't just for defense. Recent research suggests they were primarily for species recognition and sexual display, similar to deer antlers today. Hadrosaurs, the duck-billed dinosaurs, were among the most successful herbivores of the late Cretaceous. Some species had elaborate hollow crests connected to their nasal passages, which likely functioned as resonating chambers for producing distinctive calls. Imagine vast herds of these animals communicating across prehistoric landscapes with low-frequency sounds. Remarkable fossil discoveries have preserved dinosaur nests with eggs containing embryos, revealing intimate details about dinosaur reproduction and development. We now know many dinosaur species were attentive parents, guarding nests and caring for their young, much like modern birds do. How do we know how dinosaurs behaved? One of the most valuable sources of evidence comes from trackways, fossilized footprints preserved in ancient sediments. Parallel trackways of the same species, moving in the same direction, suggest herding behavior, a social adaptation that likely provided protection from predators. In Montana, paleontologists discovered the remains of a duck-billed dinosaur they named Maiasaura, meaning good mother lizard. The site contained nests with hatchlings at different growth stages, suggesting these dinosaurs cared for their young in the nest for extended periods. Evidence that contradicted older notions of reptilian neglect. By studying growth rings in dinosaur bones, similar to tree rings, scientists have determined that many dinosaur species grew at rates more similar to mammals than to modern reptiles. This rapid growth suggests elevated metabolic rates and activity levels inconsistent with classic cold-blooded physiology. Brain size relative to body mass, the encephalization quotient, varied widely among dinosaurs. Small predatory dinosaurs like Troodon had proportionally large brains and forward-facing eyes, suggesting heightened intelligence, possibly including pack hunting and complex social behaviors, not unlike those seen in modern wolves. The final stages of the Cretaceous period featured incredibly diverse ecosystems. In what is now Western North America, the Western Interior Seaway created a massive inland sea, splitting the continent and forming lush coastal environments teeming with life. Living among the dinosaurs were our own ancestors, small, mostly nocturnal mammals that had been evolving since the Triassic period. For most of the Mesozoic era, mammals remained small and unobtrusive, unable to compete with dinosaurs for dominant ecological roles, but developing adaptations that would later prove advantageous. While T-Rex dominated North America, other continents had their own apex predators. In Africa, Carcharodontosaurus, the shark-toothed lizard, reached similar sizes to T-Rex, but belonged to an entirely different family of theropods, a perfect example of convergent evolution where similar ecological pressures produce similar adaptations in unrelated groups. In the southern hemisphere, Antarctica remained connected to Australia and was positioned much closer to the equator than it is today. Despite its more northerly position, the polar region still experienced months of darkness each winter, challenging dinosaurs with unique seasonal pressures. Remarkably, dinosaur fossils have been found within ancient Arctic and Antarctic circles. Studies of bone growth rings suggest some polar dinosaurs remained active year-round despite seasonal darkness. Some may have migrated with the seasons, while others evolved specialized adaptations for the long, dark winters, including possible enhanced vision or navigational abilities. But the 186 million-year reign of the dinosaurs was about to end. Approximately 66 million years ago, an asteroid estimated at 10 to 15 kilometers in diameter struck Earth in what is now the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, triggering one of the most severe mass extinctions in our planet's history. The Chicxulub impact released energy equivalent to over 10 billion Hiroshima bombs, causing immediate devastation including tsunamis, global wildfires, and an impact winter as dust and aerosols blocked sunlight for months or years. The environmental effects were catastrophic and global. photosynthesis was severely reduced, collapsing food chains from the bottom up. When the dust finally settled, approximately 75% of all species on Earth had perished, including all non-avian dinosaurs. But not all dinosaurs went extinct. One highly specialized group had evolved small size, warm-bloodedness, and flight capabilities that helped them survive the cataclysm. These survivors, the birds, represent living dinosaurs that continue to thrive today, with over 10,000 species worldwide. The connection between dinosaurs and birds wasn't always obvious. When Thomas Henry Huxley first proposed the idea in the 1860s, most scientists dismissed it. But the evidence has become overwhelming, with multiple feathered dinosaur fossils discovered since the 1990s, providing the missing links in this evolutionary transition. Birds didn't just resemble dinosaurs, they share numerous specialized anatomical features, from hollow bones and air sacs to the wishbone, furcula, and specialized wrist bones that allow for folding wings. Modern analyses of protein fragments and other biomolecules from dinosaur fossils have confirmed their close relationship to birds at the molecular level. We now know that feathers evolved long before flight, likely serving initially for insulation and display. Different dinosaur lineages developed various feather types, from simple filaments to complex branching structures. Flight feathers, with their asymmetrical design perfect for generating lift, represent just one specialized version of this versatile innovation. Even iconic dinosaurs like Velociraptor, popularized in films as scaly reptiles, were actually covered in feathers. Far from the human-sized movie monsters, real velociraptors were about the size of turkeys, though no less dangerous to their small mammal prey. Studying dinosaurs isn't just about satisfying curiosity about ancient life. Paleontologists use increasingly sophisticated tools, from CT scanners and electron microscopes to molecular analysis and computer modeling, to extract unprecedented details from fossils, revolutionizing our understanding of evolution and biology. The Mesozoic era experienced several significant climate shifts, providing valuable case studies for understanding Earth's climate system. By studying how ecosystems responded to past climate changes, scientists gain insights relevant to our current climate crisis, including tipping points, extinction patterns, and recovery processes. And of course, dinosaurs never truly went extinct. The 10,000-plus species of modern birds represent an extraordinary evolutionary success story. Dinosaurs that adapted, survived, and continue to thrive all around us. From hummingbirds to ostriches, eagles to penguins, dinosaur descendants demonstrate remarkable evolutionary plasticity. Dinosaurs also serve as scientific ambassadors, inspiring countless young people to pursue careers in science. Their combination of alien strangeness and biological familiarity makes them perfect windows into scientific concepts, from evolution and adaptation to geology and climate science. As we face unprecedented environmental challenges today, the story of dinosaurs offers perspective. They dominated Earth for 186 million years, far longer than humans have existed, yet circumstances beyond their control led to their downfall. Their story reminds us of both the resilience and fragility of life on our dynamic planet. When dinosaurs ruled Earth, this was their life, a 186 million-year dynasty of evolutionary innovation and adaptation. Their legacy continues both in the birds that surround us and in the scientific insights they provide about our planet's past, present, and possible futures. The age of dinosaurs may be over, but their story continues to evolve as we uncover new fossils, develop new technologies, and ask new questions about these extraordinary animals that once called our planet home.